Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to install a Ryzen 5 3600 processor and a motherboard. Um, all the Ryzens, we're doing the Ryzen 3600, but all Ryzens are going to be pretty much the same. Anything all the way up to like a Ryzen 9. It doesn't matter, they all go in pretty much the same. Their stock coolers are a little bit different, but even those are generally pretty similar. We're using an A3200 or A320 motherboard. It's going to be the same regardless. If you're using a B450, an X570, it's going to be the same. Generally. Obviously, there's some variants out there in motherboards. You might have like one that's a little bit different, but they're pretty universal. So this is just a cheap, basic motherboard. Pretty much lowest of the low end, but it's still the same thing as far as installing it. And I'm not using any grounding or anything like that, but this is just kind of for demonstration purposes. If you feel like you want to use some kind of grounding strap or something while you're messing with this, then by all means. I usually don't. I've never had an issue, but I'm not telling you not to. So you do you. Alright, so you have a processor, cooler. So for this we're doing the stock cooler. You can do, obviously whatever cooler you want. It's going to be different if you do your own cooler, then you're going to have to look up the instructions on how to do that. But for this, we're doing the stock cooler that comes with it. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. These coolers do come with thermal paste already on it. You need thermal paste. It has to have thermal. So there's thermal paste. This is thermal paste on it. You can't really tell it's there because they have it so evenly spread. Stock cooler paste will be fine. I know some people say it's not, you need to replace it with aftermarket. For just basic computer use, it's going to be fine. If you plan on doing some heavy overclocking or whatever you plan on doing, maybe replace it, but for this, we're going to use the stock thermal paste on the stock cooler. So first, if you're using the stock cooler, and for most coolers, a lot of coolers, you have to take these two things off. These are used for some liquid coolers. Some other coolers use these, they just clip onto here, and that's how it stays held on, but a lot of them, including the stock cooler, these have to come off. So there's 4 screws, 2 on each that hold it on. So we're going to take those out. So you can see the whole thing just comes right off. The coolers that you use, these are kind of nice. They just clip right onto it. Kind of easier, to be honest, but whatever. Alright, so next, take your processor. Careful with it, there's pins on the processor. Intel boards have the pins on the board. The pins are on the processor. These are all tiny little pins, hundreds of them on the bottom there. If you bend one single one of those pins, you're toast. Or your processor's toast anyway. So this little latch, pull it out, lift it up. It's like that. You can't pull it straight up. Well, I guess you can. Yeah, you can. You just pull it straight up. I always pull it out a tiny little bit and then up because it has like a little latch that holds it there, but it doesn't matter. Open it up. The way this goes in is the lettering. I don't know if you guys can see that. It has the letter. It says Ryzen on it in lettering. That on 99% of boards will face this way. The lettering faces that way. So the top of the lettering is facing the RAM, or facing this part of the socket. Because the whole socket is oriented in that direction. If your whole socket is oriented in this direction, then do it that way. But basically look for this part of your socket, whether it's on the top, the side, whatever, and put the top of the lettering on that side. And that's the way it should go in. You don't have to shove, if you have to shove this in, you're doing it wrong. Or something's not right. You should be able to just lay it on there, just like that. See that? It's in there. These pins go into the holes here. They fit in there perfect. So if it's facing the right way, you should be able to just drop it right in, just like that. And then all you have to do is close the latch. That's it. Super simple. Now the cooler, the reason I do this outside of the computer, a lot of people put the whole motherboard in the computer and then put the processor and fan on. is because there's a back plate. This plate goes on the back, and then the fan screws on this side to it. Sometimes it can be hard to hold this plate in place while you're trying to put the fan on. If you do it outside the computer, you can lay it on there and put it on top, and that'll hold this. Like, this isn't going to go anywhere because it's, it's against the table. I just think this is all easier to just do it here, and then once it's on, then put it into the computer, like with the processor and fan already on it. It's much easier. All right, so that's there. Next, when you put this on, this AMD thing here has to be facing the opposite side of the RAM, like this, not like this, with the AMD on the same side as the RAM. And the reason being is if I put this here, you can kind of see why. It covers the RAM slot. So you will not be able to put any kind of RAM in this socket, in this RAM socket, if you put it this way. You'll be able to use this one. So obviously that's not going to work. And then you're going to have to take it off. And then if you take it off, now you ruined your thermal paste because it's already been smashed on there. So like, do not make that mistake. Put it this way with AMD on this side. Basically, you got your screws and they're just going to line up. Super easy. You just put them in there. Go. So they're all sitting on top there. Just take a screwdriver, screw them in. I would not screw any one of them down all the way before the others. Put it just a little bit like that, just enough that it's like in. If you do it all the way, it'll lift this side up too much, and it's real hard to get this screw in. Then you have to really shove it down to get it there. So just a little bit, just enough so it's in, and then do the opposite corner. Same thing, just enough so it's in. Then this one, just enough so it's in. And then this last corner, you can do it all the way because the other ones are already in. You'll know it's all the way in because you'll be screwing it in. It hits right there. It won't go any farther. It only goes so far. It's not like a tension screw type thing where you can screw it forever and just gets tighter and tighter. Like this does hit. It only goes in so far. And then after that, you're good. Just go around, tighten down the other three. Right there, not going any farther. 3, not going any farther. And the last one. And that's it. It is on there. Processor installed, fans on, super easy. This CPU, this is your CPU, this will plug into wherever on your board it says CPU fan. See right there, it says CPU fan. It looks exactly like a case fan. Like this one looks exactly the same, and this will plug in there. But this is system fan. So that's for like your case fans. If you plug this here, this will not spin at the correct speed. Like this spins at the speed depending on how hot your processor is. So the hotter your processor gets, the faster this will spin. If you plug it here, it will not do that, which can cause issues and all kinds of stuff. So make sure you plug it into the one that says CPU fan. This is real long. This part doesn't matter. You guys do what you want to do, but just cable management wise, I don't just plug it in because I hate this thing hanging here. Should do is tie a knot in it. And every motherboard's different. Like maybe you can run it through and back. I don't know, however you want to do it. But if it's something like this, tie a knot in it and then plug it in like that. That's real neat. You don't have a lot of extra hanging here. But that's it. Hope you guys found that helpful. Leave any comments down in the comment section if you have any questions or if you want to see anything else. And yeah, thank you. Have a good day.